Hello, Team Gruments. It's Hayley here, your rep for this season. I am really looking forward to meeting all of you in a couple of weeks' time. I hope to see some of you at the airport, so if I'm meeting you there, this is what I look like. I wanted to just show you guys what I was packing in my suitcase because going for 5 months is a little bit longer than just going for a week's holiday, and there might be some things that you see here that you haven't got that you might decide that you want to take. Gruments is a little bit different to a lot of places because it's very small and it's very remote. So you can't get your hands on a lot of things out there. There are a couple of ski shops, but they are very expensive. So I would strongly suggest, if you can, buying anything that you see here that you haven't got that you want to take, getting hold of it online or in a shop before you come out. So to start off with, I would definitely suggest bringing a set of thermals. We've got a lovely dumping of snow that's just arrived out there, ready and waiting for us. It can get quite nippy up on the mountain, obviously, and when you're in training, you're standing around for a little bit. So definitely a good pair of thermals. Then on top of your thermals, I'll just show you quickly what I wear. I tend to put on a little vest like this, something that you might wear in the gym, just something nice and fitted. A thin long-sleeved top that goes on over the top of it. Then I tend to chuck on a t-shirt over the top of that. Any t-shirt will do. And then a sports top, something like this. Nothing too bulky and heavy that's going to make you really sweaty and not going to be good for movement. You really need to be able to move your body around a lot. Having a neck that you can zip up is quite good, because there's nothing worse than having the wind sort of whistling down your neck. It can get quite horrible and cold up there. Another really good thing for your neck, I haven't got mine with me at the moment because I've left a load of kit out there, but I don't know if you guys have heard of Buff. They're a good make. Any sort of neck warmer that looks like this, I think the pound shop might even do them, but you can pull it right up around your nose and your mouth and your ears, and they are brilliant. They're not too thick, so you can still obviously breathe through them, but they're really, really, really useful, especially when it's windy up there. Gruments is a very high resort, so it can get very, very, very windy. You might want to get an extra pair of gloves to go under your thick ski gloves. If you haven't bought your gloves yet, please don't scrimp on spending for gloves. I went through 4 pairs of gloves last season because I didn't buy particularly good ones. So I've gone and got myself a really good pair this year. If you get ones that are mittens, mine are mitten ones, but they've got individual finger compartments inside that are all fleece lined and they're really warm, because I found that my hands got really, really cold last year. So a thin pair of gloves underneath and then these over the top, you'll be pretty much sorted. That's that. Do take a pair of snow boots. I just wear these to and from the gondola. You be walking from your chalet to the gondola and going up and putting your boots on up the mountain. You won't be wearing your boots to and from the chalet. So you need a pair of shoes for the snow. These, or I've just got these as well, big chunky boots that are great for any sort of weather and waterproof as well. Chuck in a pair of slippers as well for your chalet. When you're wondering about after skiing, the floor is very cold in there, so it's good to have a pair of slippers. Also, if you've got any bandanas lying around, and if it's a little bit warmer but you don't want to wear a scarf and maybe you don't have a buff, chucking a bandana on does the trick as well. And you can also pull that right up and cover your mouth. So I tend to wear bandanas quite a bit because they're not hot and sweaty, but they just give you that bit of protection from the wind. Goggles. I don't know if you guys have got your goggles yet or not. These are mine. Very scratched. If you get goggles that you can pop the lens out of, this is really useful because in a season, you're gonna go through lots of different types of weather, and you might find that you want to get different lenses. So instead of having to take 3 or 4 pairs of goggles up the mountain with you, you can actually just take one and pop in different lenses as and when you want to change them. You could also end up going through about 3 different types of conditions in one day. So you might end up changing your lens 3 or 4 times just in one day. So it's really, really useful to have a couple of lenses and goggles with a changeable lens, so you can do that as and when you need to up the mountain. Chuck in a hat obviously. I've got a big, ridiculous thick one here for when it's really cold, and then just a little one that I pop on. Again, normally to and from the chalet to the gondola going up the mountain. When it's horrible and blustery, you really are going to want a hat. Then just moving on to just a couple of things that I have found really useful. Having a water bottle that fits in your uniform. You can't actually take your bag with you when you're skiing, your backpack. You do take it up the mountain with you, but you don't ski with it and you don't teach with it. So when you are off doing lessons for hours at a time, you are going to need a drink. And these flat pack water bottles are absolute genius, and they fit in your uniform. So if you can get your hands on one of those, I strongly suggest you getting one. Sewing kits, you will rip stuff, you will need to sew stuff. I sewed a lot of my stuff, I sewed a lot of the boys' stuff last year, so I hope some of you boys can sew, because I'm not doing that again. But just basic sewing kit is really, really, really handy. A little torch. We do some night skiing. We do go up when there's a full moon. They open all the lifts and it's incredible up there, and you get to go and do some night skiing. So a little torch is always handy, and often we're pottering about at night time, moving between the two chalets, and it's not very well lit. So a torch is definitely advisable. Obviously adapters. Bring a couple. I've brought two. I'm currently in France at the moment. I've brought two, and they do break. This one is broken, so I'm now down to one. So bring two, not one. Lip balm. Definitely bring some lip balm. It's so hot up there. It's windy up there. It's cold up there. It's everything. You are going to need lip balm. Otherwise, your lips are going to be a mess by the time you finish the season. For those of you who board really, and for those of you that might want to try boarding, this is a trick I learned off of Jack, who you'll probably meet this year, is not to wear a belt on your trousers, but actually wear a shoelace. I had quite a nasty fall and I had a belt on, and it gave me a really bad bruise, because when you're boarding you tend to either land forward or backwards quite hard. And this is a little trick that I learned, which is really, really, really useful, and stopped me ending up in a lot of pain more than once, because I would wear this for my belt instead of an actual belt. So that's just a little one. Vitamins, you get these in the pound shop. They're just chunky vitamin C, multivitamins. You really want to avoid getting a cold while you're out there. I had one last year and was ill for about 5 days. You've still got to teach. There isn't a pharmacy or anything out there where you can get sort of medication easily. So I tend to bring lots of paracetamol, cold and flu tablets and vitamins, just so that if you do get ill or you feel a bit peaky, you can start dosing yourself up on stuff. Otherwise, it's a couple of bus rides away to get anywhere that's going to sell you anything medication-wise. This is a really important one, really, really important one. You are going to need lots of this, boys and girls, lots of sun cream. There was a lot of sunburnt faces last season. We get a lot of sunny days, especially in March and April. It'll be sunny mostly every day, which is brilliant, but you are going to need some sun cream, so please don't forget to pack sun cream. Anything that you might need, there's a little pot of face cream as well, boys. You need to wear that as well. All the boys last year wore it. You do need to just put so much moisturiser on your face when you're skiing every day for 5 months. Any kind of creature comforts from home that you might want. I love Marmite. I don't go anywhere without a pot of Marmite. You might be quite happy just on what's out there, but if there's anything that you might miss, just chuck in a packet of it or a jar of it, because it's quite nice to have that when you're out there. A towel. Chalet Ross won't have anything in there at all, so please don't forget a towel. The only other thing is I would chuck in a couple of books, just because I like to have a good read, so having a couple of books is quite nice, and then we can all read each other's if there's a few different books out there. Also for studying, I know a lot of you guys speak French or are French, so you won't need this, but for the guys of you that don't, a little pocket dictionary that you can put in your bag every day up the mountain is really useful. And a little notebook. You'll need to make notes on everything, not just French, on how to teach, all sorts of things, safety on the mountain, how to deal with kids specifically, how to set up the snow park, all sorts of stuff. So you're going to need that. And obviously a pencil case with all your pens and highlighters and things in as well. You'll be doing lots of studying. You'll get a big book that is going to resemble this, which is huge. And I've been through mine and I highlighted sort of some pages and bits and bobs. So highlighters and things like that is quite useful. And then a bag. Doesn't have to be as ridiculous as this, but you will need a backpack every day. Because in your backpack going up the mountain, whether you're training, teaching, whatever, big enough, obviously pencil case, my dictionary and my book would go in there, my goggles would go in there, and maybe my torch if I'm night skiing, my water bottle, and gloves and sun cream, and you get the gist. Just a decent backpack that is going to last a season, going up and down the mountain with you every single day. I hope this was useful for you guys, and if you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. And I cannot wait to see you all really, really, really soon. Happy packing! Bye!